I'm Sepe Arari. As I told you, I'm a doctoral researcher in Mechanical Intelligence Research Group at London South Bank University. Actually, the topic I want to talk about is mechanical intelligence in insect wings, but I'm going to start with an interesting question of how actually insects fly. We know that birds and bats have active flight muscles that allow them to control their wing deformations and thereby perform very sophisticated flight performance. But unlike birds and bats, insects don't have any musculature across their wing design architecture, but they show very sophisticated flight performance, even more sophisticated than birds and bats. But how that is possible? The answer lies in the concept of mechanical intelligence. But what is mechanical intelligence? As I told you, insects don't have any flight muscles across their wing architecture, but they are able to show very sophisticated flight performance. That's because of the very specialized wing designs that they have that allow them to automatically respond to the ever-changing environments and to ever-changing and unpredictable loading scenarios. And all of that is possible by the wing design architecture and the complicated and nonlinear interactions between the structural component of the wing architecture that gives rise to a kind of collective intelligence that we refer to as mechanical intelligence. These design components consist of the wing layered material, the cuticle, and many different structural components, including the vanes, different kinds of joints, the corrugation, and basal complex, which is actually the main topic of this presentation. There is a widely held hypothesis in the literature saying that basal complex, which is a 3D component of the wing basal region, actually 1/3 of the base of the wing, this basal complex can significantly contribute to the quality of wing deformations during flight. As you can see in this slide, there are different kinds of basal complexes in dragonfly wings. We chose these species because they represent a wide variety of different Odonata species, which are actually dragonflies and damselflies, because they show diverse designs and also they somehow cover different designs of the wings and also different sizes and flight styles of insects. To explore this hypothesis, we use different methodology. We use different microscopy techniques, including scanning electron microscopy, confocal laser scanning microscopy, wide field fluorescence microscopy, and micro CT scanning to explore the morphological complexity of the wing, as you can see here, especially the basal complex, and show the presence of material gradient across the structural design of the basal complex, as you can see in this slide. The results show the complexity of the design. And in order to show the role of basal complex in determining the quality and also quantity of wing deformations, we use mechanical testing as well. As you can see, we applied the force on a point of the wing, which is called radial vane posterior, which can somehow replicate the deformations of the wing during flight. This idea was suggested by Robin Wootton, who is a pioneer in wing biomechanics. And by doing so, we actually validated this idea that just applying a single force and a single point in the wing can replicate the wing deformations during flight. And we also divided our experimentation into two categories, one with the intact wings and one where only basal complex exists, where we remove the two-thirds of the wing beyond basal complex. And the mechanical testing results show that basal complex actually do significantly contribute to the wing deformation pattern. When we remove the rest of the wing, the deformation patterns remains almost similar. Another interesting observation is that the force required to deflect the wings raises linearly, which is an interesting observation as well. In order to further validate our hypothesis, saying that basal complex significantly contribute to the wing deformations patterns, we developed the most comprehensive finite element model of the wing to date, which is the forewing of Dragonfly. And in another model, we removed basal complex by actually making it flat, because the structure of the basal complex is corrugated. And the results are quite interesting, as they show that when we remove basal complex, as you can see on the left-hand side, the bending increases by 1.7 times, which can have detrimental effect on the aerodynamic lift performance, aerodynamic lift production of the wing. More interestingly, as you can see here in the middle, the wing twists in completely opposite direction, which means that the wing is actually not functional to produce lift and thrust for the insect to fly. The other thing is the camber needed for flight force generation is also reduced by 1.7, which also has detrimental effect on the flight performance of the insects. But now that how the basal complex actually works. As I told you, the structure and material of the wing is quite complicated, and there are many interactions between the structural components of the wing to allow it to create a camber cross-section for the wing to produce flight forces. But the working principle of the mechanism is actually very simple. As I told you, when we just apply a force on the ventral side of the wing, on the radial vane posterior, that raises and also elevates the RA, which is the radial vane anterior, and that in turn slightly pushes down the leading edge of the wing. On the other hand, the medial vane anterior also rotates clockwise and thereby pushes the trailing edge down, which also promotes a cambered cross-sectional area for the wing in order to produce aerodynamic lift force. And on the other hand, when we apply the force on the dorsal side, there is actually no camber formation, which is a characteristic of the wings of dragonflies, which only produce lift during downstroke. That means that they need to produce camber cross-sections during downstroke. But now the question is, what can be learned from this automatic shape morphing capability of the dragonfly wings to actually enhance the performance of current engineering systems? Here in this study, we have developed a linkage mechanism inspired by the basal complex of the dragonfly wing that simply uses a simple actuation to promote a camber cross-section for the structure. And that can allow us to somehow simplify the control mechanisms of current engineering systems by simplifying the sensing, control, and actuation. here in this slide, you can simply see that pushing this link upward can promote the camber by pushing this edge downward. And then we use this mechanism and here you can also see how the mechanism works. Just pushing one link upward and downward can promote the camber across the entire structure. Then we use this design in the development of wind turbine blades, actually aerofoils that are capable of automatic shape control, meaning that they can self-organize and adapt to different boundary conditions and loading scenarios that are imposed by the ever-changing environment, here in this case, the wind force, that allows the aerofoil to automatically change its camber formation and thereby change the angle of attack so it can produce more energy. And all of this has been possible due to the hard work and diverse skills of our team members in London South Bank University at the Mechanical Intelligence Research Group, which are from different backgrounds, including mechanical engineering, material scientists, electrical engineers, biologists, computer scientists who are experts in machine learning and artificial intelligence. And if you want to know more about our research, you can check our recent publications in communications biology, advanced science, and interface focus. If you have more questions, you want to collaborate, or you want to know more about our research, you can either contact me or Dr. Hamid Rajabi, who is the leader of Mechanical Intelligence Research Group. Thank you for your attention.